Let's try this again. Looks like we're in the green. Not sure what happened last time, but I think we're good. How's everybody doing? It's Bretta. We're back online. It's been a long time. A lot of changes to the basement that are still not completed, but we have today our ROG Ally. And I am really excited for this. I'm not really sure what came over me. I am not the kind of person who was super excited about the Steam Deck, who was generally excited about handheld gaming. But when Asus announced the Ally, I got really excited. And, you know, all of the true gamers out there, I have several friends who are true gamers who are disappointed with me for wanting this thing for the wrong reasons. But I am excited about the potential versatility of this device. And I've been really enjoying Honkai Star Rail. So here we go. I have no idea what to expect. I've watched some reviews, obviously. I've hefted some Steam Decks. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is going to be really, really cool. Gotta throw away the plastic here. And to really make the experiment whole, I've got a docking station, because one of the things I want to do is dock this and use it like a laptop. So let's get started here. Oh, everybody wondering where to go. Somebody's got to find the link. Let's get all the plastic off here. Open it up. So I was surprised how small the box is, and in the same breath, I'd like to say I am surprised by how big the device is. Wow. I've got pretty big hands. This is bigger than I expected. I remember thinking, one of my friends has a Steam Deck, and I remember thinking it was bigger than I expected. For some reason, I thought the Ally was going to be a little smaller, but it seems like it's really in the range there. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, that's awesome. You know, I have seen some reviewers talk about how light it is. It is deceptively light. It feels like there's not a ton of substance to the device, which is interesting. Let's see, what do this instructions say? Looks like we should charge on the top port. And okay, so looks like it's probably got no battery. So plug in the charger and then press the power button. And then some QR codes for some stuff. Yeah, this is good. The screen is just bigger than I expected. Like it's almost the size of like the smaller tablets you can find on the market. So yeah, I mean, initial thoughts. I'm impressed. The device looks impressive and cool. It's lighter than expected. The buttons feel really nice. I have seen some reviews where they actually changed the buttons from the first review units to these, right? I can't confirm or deny whether that happened. The sticks feel good. We've got left trigger, right button. Looks like volume here at the top, power button here, micro SD slot here, headset, and this is the ROG XG port where you can plug in an external graphics card. There is also the M1 and the M2 buttons here behind. You can see the multicolor effect there on this strip. But yeah, this is awesome. My hardware-loving self is really excited by the fact that this thing contains an 8-core AMD Zen 4 CPU with 12 execution unit integrated GPU. I'm fired up about that. So I prepared for this lack of a charger situation. I have here a battery backup that I purchased on a lightning deal on Amazon specifically for this purpose that can do 45 watts. So let's plug it in and make sure we've got this on. Looks like there is a red indicator light that we're charging here, so that's great. Let's fire it up. While I've got this turning on, let's see what else is in the box. So open this up. Pretty compact charging brick. Taking a look here. 5 volts, 3 amps, 15 watts, 9 volts, 3 amps, 15 and 15 volts, 3 amps. So up to 65 watts, it looks like, which is nice. Nice USB-C. I like it. Don't really plan to use it, honestly. Have my own USB-C charger that supports up to 65 watts. And let's see if there's something on this right side here. Little box. I don't have 2 watches on. One of them is a fitness band. So here, looking in here, it looks like we've got warranty information form, safety precautions, an unlabeled book, first edition, February 2023. Okay, so this looks like a manual here. Getting started. Charge, safety notices. It looks like the console itself is loading Windows, I would assume. So that's interesting. I'm going to close this up. Usually don't spend too much time on the manuals that are included, and I think that takes us to the bottom of the box. Yeah, so charger and some manuals. Nothing too crazy there. Oh, wow. That was louder than expected. Let's see, what do we got here? Number 1, open the box. Number 2, oh, interesting. I'm not exactly sure what this is.
To set up your device using a screen reader, turn on narrator by pressing Windows plus Control plus Enter. For more accessibility features, press Windows plus U, or select the accessibility icon.
How about we mute that? Thank you, Windows. So it looks like this cardboard thing here, the ROG lettering, is some type of vertical stand. So let's try it out. Oh yeah, there you go. It's interesting that it's made out of cardboard, I will say. Maybe it's just like a, hey, please buy our aftermarket accessories moment. So I feel like, I guess I can close up the box and let's take a look at the device. Yeah, that's right. Gonna hang on to the first edition there. Okay, let's set this up. Is this the right keyboard layout or input method? So same setup as traditional Windows 11. I'm gonna skip. Let's connect you to a network. All right, I'm gonna do this off camera here. Question is, how do you get the keyboard to come up? Admittedly, I have no idea how to get the keyboard to come up. So we're going to bust out the manual. I feel like this is the type of pains people are talking about with Windows. Why it's not as good as, you know, say Steam OS for the Steam Deck. Actually, we'll just leave this here so we can stand it up. Okay. Getting started. Charge. Press the power button to turn it on. Safety notices. Really? There's no information about how to use the keyboard. Looks like X and Y are up and down. So are the triggers. All right. It's official. I have no idea how to proceed. Does anyone in the chat have any idea how to get the virtual keyboard to show up? Because I know there are ways to do it in Windows, right? But I think maybe those ways don't work right now. Oh, here we go. Keyboard. So this button is working. I don't know if the keyboard's actually going to come up though. So now what? Looks like we'll go through this menu in more detail, I guess, but you can change the brightness there, which is cool. Yeah, I guess I thought I was making progress, but I am not. Oh, here's my cursor. I'm confused. Time for a quick Google, I guess. Let's see here. Are we still live? I think we're live, right? How to pull up keyboard, ROG Ally. So on the back, press and hold these. Okay, keyboard issue not displaying on setup/Wi-Fi. Hold the M1 or M2 macro buttons and press D-pad up. Aha! We've done it, lads. Okay. Connecting to a network. Next, if I have to log into my Windows account, I'll probably have to do that off camera as well. I'm going to fire up pull out the dock just to get an idea of whether it's going to work with the Ally. This dock is specific to the Steam Deck. You can see it here, but I don't know why they're showing it vertically. So we'll see. Nice aluminum dock. This was on a deal, a lightning deal on Amazon for $13.99, which is a little bit surprising to me. Here we go. Looks like it doesn't sit. Oh, I guess there's some rubber at the bottom, so it'll kind of sit like that. That works for me. Have it charging right now, though, so. Name your device. I mean, Ally. Skipper? Jack Berry's Tack Their Tricks. Oh, Armory Crate SE app service bridge.exe. The app crashed. You love to see it. Just a moment. Looks like you can move the mouse with the right stick, which is cool. These feel very, very good, actually. There's your signature Asus sound. One thing that I think is very cool about this is in docked mode, I think you can use up to 45 watts between the CPU and the GPU. But if you use an external graphics card, all that power can go straight to the CPU. And at that point, you're looking at kind of a higher end laptop CPU experience. Ha, works. All right, here we go. Okay, now we got the authenticator code. Okay. Type in the code. Here we go. Let's add your Microsoft account. Welcome back. I'd like to set this up from scratch. Yeah. It's interesting, I can set it up too. Wait, is there a fingerprint? Is there a fingerprint sensor on this? Time to consult the manual. Is the power button also a fingerprint sensor? '26 power button fingerprint sensor. Cool. Let's do it. Touch the power button. I swear they ripped off the text, the help text for this straight out of Apple. Try different angles. Your device is having trouble recognizing you. Why is it completely unsurprising that a Windows device is not going to be nearly as good as an Apple device at fingerprint? That's it. You're all set, even though the last 10 attempts were all failures. All right, let's set up a pin, I guess. Choose privacy settings. Next, next, accept. It is pretty interesting to me, actually, that Windows has made some changes to make it better for handhelds, you can tell. Let's customize your experience. Don't really care about that. I'll do that all myself. Use your Android phone for your PC from your PC. Don't have an Android phone. I had a Pixel 2 Strife Tech, and the fingerprint sensor on the back did work quite well. I don't have a Steam Deck to compare. I do have a Switch, actually, and I should have brought it to this, but I would have to leave the room and go upstairs and pick it up. I'm impressed with the screen, though, I gotta say. It's probably hard to see. I'm not using a super high quality camera here because my mirrorless camera stopped working with the capture card, so we're working with what we got. Eventually, I hope to use my iPhone as my camera here and improve the quality, but this might take a few minutes. Don't turn off your PC. It's definitely thicker than the Switch because it's got more, you can see it's got this rounded edge here where the Switch is very flat feeling. One thing I was hoping that it would have is a kickstand like the Switch, but I am not seeing that, so it makes me wonder what the best way for me to prop it on a table like this on the go, right? Looks like that's not built in to it, although I could just be missing it, but it really doesn't seem like there is anything here. Almost there. Hey yo, your device is optimized for touch. Learn how to make the most of your touch experience. If there are new gestures, you'll see this after you've updated Windows. All right, I've never seen this, so let's see what it is. Swipe up for taskbar shortcuts. Aha, nice, like that. Stay up to date with the swipe. Swipe over from the right. Get notifications and calendar. Cool. And arrange your app windows. To resize your app, place your finger at the top of a window and drag it anywhere on your desktop. Or drag it back to the top to see snap layouts. Cool. Armory Crate is set up. So it crashed twice, but maybe we are going to be able to use it now. Welcome to Armory Crate. Download all your favorite games. Easily download all your favorite games from various gaming platforms. Okay. Manage all your games in a single library. Cool. I've heard this is one of the good things that Asus is doing here to kind of help it make it feel more Steam Deck-like. Personalize your controls. Awesome. Quickly access handy features. Press the Command Center button, which is this guy here, to open and close Command Center. Press Armory Crate to open and close Armory Crate. Start with Armory Crate. We hope this tutorial was helpful and that you have a great time gaming on this device. If you would like to see this tour again, you can access it from Settings, Help, Center, Tutorial. Okay, get started. I see that there's a game here, Moving Out. I haven't heard of that before. What does the Ally do exactly? So the Ally is a Windows-based handheld gaming machine, Mindfluxed. It's intended to compete with the Steam Deck. Steam Deck can run Windows, but uses Steam OS, which is a Linux-based operating system that Valve is doing a ton of optimization work on to make it so games work better. In theory, the Ally is quite a bit more powerful than the Steam Deck. However, the Steam Deck is heavily optimized, so at lower power, it actually seems like the Steam Deck does better than the Ally. But yeah, what drew me to this device was the fact that it runs Windows, right? I assume that Windows is probably going to improve in its experience, right? And also, I am just overall excited that this is a full-fledged computer in my hands right now. with, really, really high graphics performance for the size. And yes, this bad boy is going to open up Outlook eventually, just not today. Okay, so let's open up Command Center here and see what we got. So obviously we have a slider for, I'll bring this up a little bit here, slider for brightness. There's an operating mode, and I went from performance to turbo, and back to performance, silent, performance, turbo, silent. It's interesting how it just kind of goes to a random one. It doesn't seem like it cycles through. I think I can hear it. Yep, I can barely hear the fan on the back. Control mode, auto, gamepad, desktop, auto. Interesting. Game profiles. Desktop mode, ideal for non-gaming scenarios such as web browsing and other general applications. So what other options do we have here? Gamepad mode. So 2 modes here, desktop mode and gamepad mode. Ideal for most games with built-in gamepad support and a first or third person camera. I can press B to go back, supposedly, but I haven't selected one. Oh, okay, so you go to gamepad mode and you can map keys. Nice. Desktop mode. Map keys. That's cool. So 2 separate ways of making it work. I like that quite a bit. Keyboard, can bring it up here. Real-time monitor. Oh, very cool. You can see that up on the top right here, this area, I have a CPU and GPU utilization and also speed. So CPU running at 3.9 gigahertz, which is impressive. Can I move this window? Awesome. So FPS of 1, probably because I'm not playing a game. 60 Celsius temperature, battery at 72. Pretty cool. Let's turn that off. There is an FPS limiter here. It looks like it goes from off to 15, 30, 45, and 60. Resolution can be 1080p or 720p, apparently. That's kind of awesome, actually. I'm sure that has a big impact on battery life overall. So that's cool. And you can see the difference, right? Everything's a little bit less sharp in 720p mode, but that's okay. Yeah, one day it'll crunch some CSV files for sure. Can you play HOTS on that thing? Yes. Markster, you can play HOTS on this thing. Games like Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, Counter-Strike run incredibly well on this integrated graphics chip. There's also a refresh rate toggle here, so if I press this, it goes from 120 to 60, so that's another way to save battery life, right? I mean, there's a lot of games that you can't, AAA games, for example, it's actually very difficult to push frame rates higher than 60, so reducing the refresh rate, I should say, of the screen will likely have a nice impact on battery life. So this one says embedded controller, and it's currently enabled. If I disable it, I don't actually know what it's doing. Honestly, I'm not sure what embedded controller does. And then there's AMD RSR, which I believe is similar to FSR, so some sort of upscaling that can be used to improve frame rates in games. Some kind of smart upscaling. So that's actually really cool. If I press this window button, looks like it just changes the view here. I press this button with the 3 lines, some kind of menu button maybe. Doesn't do anything here though. If I press this guy, it goes back to, the icon looks a little bit different, but I actually think this is the game library button. So click this button to fire up the game library. Pretty awesome. I do love how I literally have shortcuts for Slack and Spotify because I used my normal email. That's pretty funny. So looks like here at the bottom we've got an Xbox app, which is nice. There's some Xbox Game Pass that comes with this. Microsoft Store, Edge, browser, right? Can open up some standard Windows things here. I do like this app view quite a bit that you can swipe up, right? That gesture is nice, so I don't actually have to tap here. I can just use it more like an Android device, right? Your app drawer. Yeah, otherwise it really does look like standard Windows. So, given this is an unboxing, it'll take time to download games and play them, but I think that I'm going to do some of that and kind of see how it handles. Does anyone have any questions about the device that I can answer before we jump off here? It does have 70% battery. So I'm going to do this. Let's test out the stock. So up here on the top, the XG port is actually a USB-C here with some other proprietary stuff next to it. So that is the reason why this Steam Deck dock will likely work, because I can plop it into there. You can see that it recognized that USB, and then that gives me access to some ports. So to use this like a desktop, right, I would have an HDMI, a USB-C for power delivery, right, so this is where I plug the charger in, 3 USBs, and LAN. So Ethernet. Should be cool. By default, that's actually one thing we could probably check here is, I feel like the keyboard should come up automatically when you're in a search, some kind of search menu. But maybe there's a setting I can configure for that later, or it just doesn't. Let's check out system info. So 8 cores, 16 logical processors, right? So 8 cores with SMT, simultaneous multi-threading for the CPU. 16 gigabytes of, from what I understand, this is LPDDR5 6400 megahertz, which is fast, really fast. Helps the graphics performance a lot, but not the fastest that you can actually put in a device like this. And then so yeah, this is where things get a little dicey, right? I need to press that tiny plus, and this is sensitive. So a good example here of where Windows leaves something to be desired. Going into storage drives, I can see 475 gigabytes. So the Ally comes with 512 gigabytes of storage by default. There are 6 screws here on the back. I will likely try and take it apart, and I have seen other reviewers upgrade it from 512 gigs to 1 terabyte of storage. Not only that, you have a micro SD card slot here, so you can further expand the storage there. That's really cool. So after holding it for however long it's been, 30 minutes ish, I like the feel of it. It's a little sharp on the edges, like digging into my palms a little bit, but I would imagine that'll be more comfortable if I'm holding it and actually pressing buttons and doing things, rather than actually just applying pressure to the sides to hold it up. Can it run Doom? It can probably run Doom in its sleep. Great question. So yeah, this is the ROG Ally. First impression is I'm impressed. It's a sleek looking device. I'm a big fan of RGB, so I actually really like that. That's definitely not for everyone though. You have a lot of control here on your command center. I actually don't see a way of opening up Aura now that I'm thinking about it. Is this Aura Sync? Ah, here we go. So if you click the Aura button, you go to Game Library, you have a settings tab with more stuff. So here's a place where I can change Aura Sync from rainbow. I have some audio, lighting settings, Bluetooth here. I can change operating mode. Aha, this is more standard Asus right here, where I have these different operating modes, some system stats. You can see that the CPU is running at 1.6 gigahertz right now. Very cool. So the command center is separate from Aura. Armory Crate, I guess, is the real name of this. Aura Sync is just RGB. So I quit out of that, and there's an update available, but we'll take a look at that later. Over here on the right, I can make edits to my command center. So this command center here actually reflects what's in Armory Crate. So I can change things. That's pretty cool. And some examples of some things I can add is game library, Aura, so that's your LEDs, microphone, take screenshot, record screen, airplane mode, nice, and AMD RIS, which I believe that's Radeon Image Sharpening. Not 100% positive though. So that's cool. How do I, oh yeah, it looks like down here at the bottom it specifies that I can press B for back. So I don't need to tap the top right X to get out of it. So looking at content here, media gallery, system, game platforms, user center, update center, featured, game deals and wallpapers, and help center. So some good stuff here as well. I wonder if I'm able to play this game moving out. I've never heard of that game, but let's see. It's launching behind my settings. You love to see that. Looks like, from what I can tell, these grates right here are actually speakers, so they're forward-facing, which is nice. That's one thing I really dislike about gaming on an iPad, actually, is the side-firing speakers. Do not eat greasy food while using a controller because it may slip and cause serious injury. Thank you. I'll bring it closer to the mic here. Pretty impressive.
Smooth moves. Boxes? We don't need no stinking boxes.
It's a literal moving game. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, very snappy, very quick. I mean, it feels very smooth on the screen. Definitely not getting any of that 30 FPS vibes there. So, don't know what it's actually running at, but...
Smooth moves. I like to move it.
Okay. What is this, Madagascar? The movie? Interesting. So, how do I go home? I guess I just have to quit to desktop. And there it is. Okay. So I want to know how I... Oh, it was here in the real-time monitor. That was something I should have brought up while I was looking at the game. So, oh, it does give a nice value for watts used. So now I'm on battery. I guess when I was plugged in, this value goes away. Let's test that. So once I'm charging, nope, looks like it's still reporting a... Are we charging? Doesn't look like it's actually showing that. 4.8 watts here. So it is a 40 watt hour battery from what I know. And oh yeah, when you do start charging, I assume that that's SoC power, right? So CPU, GPU together disappears. So it's more relevant anyways when you're not plugged in, so you can have a general idea of how much battery life you're going to get. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Just a very quick unboxing video. Didn't really have time to set things up and, do a lot of preparation, but figured there might be somebody out there who'd like to see. And if you do have any questions about the Ally, just send them in, comment on the video, and I'll do my best to respond to those questions. But other than that, have a great night, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.